Throughout the 6th century, the Maronites coming from Antioch lived with the Lebanese Maronites, and together they built their villages and prepared to settle down. Thereafter, the plan changed with circumstances. In the first 3 decades of the 7th century, the Byzantine and the Persian empires were in a very devastating war that did not spare Antioch and its entire neighborhood. In the 3rd and 4th decades, the Arab army started an invasion toward the western cities to build an empire. A new empire was built and known as the Umayyad dynasty. It lasted from 661 to 750 A.D. Along with these wars, some Christian mountaineers called Jarajima or Marada, known for their bravery, fighting skills, and strength, left Taurus to join the Maronites on Mount Lebanon. They became part of the Maronite society. They were known as the nucleus of the Maronite defending army from 628 to 1099 A.D. Between 635 and 637 A.D., Damascus, Baalbek, Byblos, Tyre, Sidon, and other cities fell to Arab invaders. Many Maronites living in the coastal cities like Byblos or on flatlands like Baalbek escaped and joined their brothers on Mount Lebanon, which was covered with snow, rugged and steep up to 3,100 meters elevation, land that offered no attraction to Arab fighters coming from the desert. At some time, Maronites became a problem for the Umayyad dynasty, who, facing a civil war of their own with the followers of Ali, known today as Shia, paid a tribute to the Maronites so as to ensure good behavior. This arrangement lasted for over 40 years before attacks began anew. At the same time, Patriarch Anastasius was the last Chalcedonian patriarch to reside in Antioch before he was killed in 610 A.D. His martyrdom left the Maronites without a leader through all the struggles they faced. Amid these events, the Maronites found themselves increasingly estranged from Antioch, and the patriarchal seat of Antioch was still vacant. As the largest Chalcedonian community at that time, they elected John Maroon as patriarch on the seat of Antioch in 687 A.D. John Maroon was the bishop of Batroun for 11 years before his election to the patriarchate. The emperor of Byzantium, who up to this time had appointed the patriarchs, was very displeased. At that point, the Maronites were forced to protect themselves from all attacks, Arabs coming from the south and east, and Byzantines from the north. In 694 A.D., the imperial army of Justinian II attacked the Maronites, destroyed the monastery on the Orontes River, and executed 500 monks. The Maronites had also to face the imperial army in Lebanon. Patriarch John Maroon chose the castle of Samar Jebel as a temporary seat while his nephew led the Maronites and Marada to win a decisive victory in the Amun battle, killing the imperialist general Morik. Following these events, Maronites had to move high into the mountains to ensure their survival, freedom and faith and independence. The patriarch moved to Farhay in Batroun's mountains, where he made the episcopal palace a seat for the Patriarch of Antioch and the rest of the East, where many patriarchs lived after him. Between 750 and 1258 A.D., the Abbasids dynasty took power, and they brought humiliation to the Umayyads. They did not spare Lebanon and treated it very much as an occupied territory. The Maronites staged revolt after revolt, but in 759, in an attack on Baalbek, the Maronites met disaster. Severe repression followed, and the Maronites found it very difficult to survive. The patriarchs lived in the bitterness of migration. Many of their followers flocked around them, trudging to Farhay, carrying their children and staggering under the burden of what simple belongings they had been able to bring as they were driven from their houses, their lands, and their property in surrounding areas. They came to forge a living from a rocky, densely forested land, lacking every amenity. The anaphora of St. John Maroon, prayed in Maronite masses until our days, is a good testimony to the faith of the Maronites in the Holy Trinity. Their belief could not be shaken, nor could the assaults of their enemies disperse them. The patriarchs resided in the region of Batroun from 687 to 938 A.D. After 251 years, continuous pressure and attacks forced them to find a new refuge. Patriarch John II returned to St. Maroon Monastery in Antioch, trying to recollect the flocks and the parish there, but he failed because of repeated hardships and dangers. He returned to Lebanon in 938 A.D. and found refuge in Yanu, near Akura, in the district of Byblos, where Abraham of Cyrus first preached 5 centuries before. Maronites were facing new difficulties on new soil. They worked the fertile soil in which they grew wheat and other grains, planted olive trees, grapevines, and mulberry trees. From 938 to 1440 A.D., 34 Maronite patriarchs resided in the district of Byblos. These 502 years were years of constant turmoil for Maronites as the plains and mountains of Lebanon became a battlefield for the Crusaders and the army of Islam. Jesus said to his apostles, "When you are persecuted in one place, flee to another. I tell you the truth, you will not finish going through the cities of Israel before the Son of Man comes." Thus, as Jesus taught his disciples, the Maronites of that time did, and survived.